Good afternoon, world. Hope you guys enjoyed my show I made yesterday. I just came back from my shift at Dinty's. Yeah. You have the money, Ivan? Yeah, I have zero money, but I have my cans. I got like $19 worth of cans at the store, so I was able to get my pack of smokes and like a beer. Yeah. My food's in the oven, my appetizer. I'm eating my chapati with hot dogs, right? I didn't eat all day. I'm fucking hungry. I have my Dinty's food. I'm eating that later, right? Hope you guys enjoyed my Sky Source videos, my SHL Pro Hockey League, which I might start. I'm kidding. You never know, right? Yeah. The question you got to ask yourself, Ivan, what would you rather do? Would you rather be a movie star or would you rather be a pro hockey athlete? Even though it's close, being a movie star is obviously cooler than being a pro hockey athlete. And being a pro hockey athlete is risky. I don't want to put all that money into the league and I flop as a player. Because I don't want to be a good player. I want to be a star player. But even if I'm a good player, the league will still make its money. But if you really want the league to make its money, you got to be a star player, like Carmen David, Sidney Crosby, and Ovechkin, Austin Matthews. You have to be a star player like those guys. But I have the genes to be successful. I'm talking to you, Carmen David, Sidney Crosby. It's risky. What if I flop? Yeah, if you got a good point that you can flop on him. But no, I mean, if you train for like 4 or 5 years, because it'll take a good 4 or 5 years to start the league. If you train hard and like do off ice training and everything, you should be. And don't forget, I'm blue. I have VJ's blue. Don't forget that, right? Yeah. I'm updated when I'm king with the glowing beauty, so I'm able to do better stuff than I am able to do now. Because right now I don't have VJ's blue, right? Obviously. Like I'm a smarter man when I'm king. As my father, right now I'm pretty dumb, but my father will refresh my mind. I have a brand new brain, so I'm now that smart Ivan, so I can be a smarter hockey player. But I should be able to be a star player in the league, right? I have the genes to be successful. Yeah. But I have to put like $30 million of my money to the league. Money I should make. Me saying 20, $30 million on my book is me being humble. I have the keys to the kingdom. I might even make 100 billion in this, right? 100, probably around 50 maybe billion. I make 55 billion. Make 55 billion, I could invest $33 billion of my money into the league, and I will make my money back. But the key is I have to be a good player, a star player in the league, obviously. If you want to be the face of the league, Ivan, with these SHL athletes, you have to what? Be a star player with those guys, right? Because all the star players in my league will be the face of the league with me, assuming I'm a star player. That's why Carmen Davis and Crosby and will be crushed, obviously, because those guys would have been the face of the league with me. Featured on the hockey commercials with me, the magazines. I'll be doing sport magazines, illustrated for the star players. They get paid for it. How much you pay the players for? Pay them anywhere from $500K to maybe 2.5 million for the magazines. That's a good deal for the players, but I hope they get paid. Considering you're making your billions, Ivan, pay the players a lot of money for the magazines, obviously. Because my magazines will sell out too. They'll be making a lot of money too. Obviously, they'll be making a lot of money. So you pay the players maybe $500K to $2.53 million to be featured on the magazines. That's a good paycheck to the players. So they're making that money. And then for the commercials, you can pay them maybe 10, 15 grand for each commercial they do, 20 grand for each commercial they do. And they get their league revenue and they get their rich base, obviously. But they don't get endorsement deals because I do not sell the gates. But even though the athletes don't get endorsement deals, they're making more than what they make in the NHL, so it's all good, right? Because they're making other side money too. And speaking money too, don't forget, they'll probably make money for speaking too. Speaking, yeah. They get paid for that, the athletes, right? Fuck you guys, you're just a fucking dick, man. If you start that league, you're gonna crush us. Well, you guys get what you deserve, man. You want to use the evil to me. If I start a Pro Hockey League, you guys miss an opportunity. You're left behind. You got to be legends in the NHL, guys, right? You're still success. Yeah, this is success, but like the NHL is no longer number one either. Like the SHL is number one, so we feel like we missed out. And your league blows the NHL water with better perks, and you can easily pay us more money. Yeah, the league rising opportunity will be crushed. Obviously, and Austin Matthews will actually be crushed. Those guys would have made a lot of money in my league, man. Like a 3-5 million plus a season. Got some Sarah? Crosby, I heard, made about $152 million in his whole like 21 like year NHL career, whatever it is, right? He made like $152 million. Well, for his first contract, his first mega deal, he would have made $152 million after 6 seasons. He already made his $152 million. He would have made his 35, probably 40 million first 2 seasons, and the second season probably like 32 for the next like 2-3 years. That's already like 152 million. That's what my league blows the NHL out of the water. Like, this is making more money. I want to be strict, guys. Only generational talents get 35 to 50, right? Don't go any higher than 50 for a player, but they have to be rare talent. If they're what's the difference between generational talent and the other star players? The generational talent are rare talent. They're not like normal on the ice. They're unique on the ice. Whereas the other star players who are not generational talent, they're amazing talent, but they're more like normal players. Guys, I'm saying, don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, yeah. Like Ovechkin, Crosby, McDavid, those guys are unique on the ice. They're generational talent. Whereas these other players like Malkin, don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, and like Ginlaw, like all these guys, they're amazing talent, but they're not like rare talent. They're more normal on the ice. Guys, I'm saying, don't hate me. I'm saying, yeah. Yeah, but they will be upcoming generational talent for each generation, obviously, for the league. Like every like maybe 8 years, you're gonna get maybe 2-3 generational players, and those players can make their 35 to 50 million a season. But like I told you guys, you have to balance out the contract. If you want to play a generational talent, pay a generational talent $40 million, pay that player $40 million for the first 2 seasons. And then bring it down to maybe 32. That way you have an $8 million cap space to pay an upcoming draft pick, maybe $3.5 million, and another good player like $4 or $5 million. Guys from Sarah. So you have to create room to pay the players. The good players have to get paid too, right? Yeah, families to feed. Or girlfriends to feed, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. Guys from Sarah. My food should be ready soon, guys. 20 minutes, I'll get my hot dogs for it. I'm fucking hungry. Yeah. Ivan, how much money do you think you'll be pulling in a season? Probably my 180 billion around there. I'll be pulling in a season. But I have to put like $15-16 billion back into the league, my own money back into the league for each season, obviously. That's why everyone in the league will want to raise, obviously, because they're greedy, those guys. Yeah, man, if you're making like your 85 billion a season, you can easily have a $300 million salary cap. Yes, I can, but I'm not gonna have these athletes dupe me, man. They're not worth that. Alright, if you have a $300 million salary cap, these guys are duping you, man. Now good players can make like 17, they can peak at maybe 16, 17 a season. You're paying them too much and they're not worth that. Yeah, man. 200 million is good enough to start when I start the league. But I will give raises. Maybe 10, 12, I can give like $12 million raises, $13 million raises after like each bargaining agreement with the players and the league. I can raise the cap to maybe $12 million. That way star players can make, because the truth is when you raise the cap, all that money goes to the star players pretty much, right? It's all about the star players. Star players make a bit more, maybe $2 million more. That's a good raise for those guys. But I'm not going to raise it by like $50, $100 million. I'm not having guys dupe me. $300 million is too much, Ivan. You're going to blow more of your money. You're going to drain more of your money. $200 million is enough to pay all the players, the 18 players on each NHL team a lot of money. What will your minimum salary for your league, Ivan? $750,000. That's a good paycheck. So if you have an average player and they're making $751 million, that's still a lot of money. Still living a rich life with that money, but they're not making the money that the good players and the star players are making. They're still making good money. Most chances are average players in my league will pull in on average to $2+ million, $2.5+ million a season. That's a good paycheck, but they don't get featured on the magazines. They don't get paid for that. They're not featured on the commercials. They don't get league revenue. Only the star players get league revenue. Good players and average players don't get league revenue, guys. They just get their base, and that's it. And they get their speaking money and the game money too. But for the game, they don't get paid that much. They only get paid like maybe like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to be featured on the game, right? They don't get paid that much money for the game. Yeah. That's how it works in pro sports, right? Only the star players get endorsement deals, and the star players are the ones who make all the dough. When they get the endorsement deals, they're featured on the commercials. You know the Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid commercials on the NHL, Austin Matthews, Ovechkin commercials. Yeah, only the star players get featured on the commercials. The average and good players don't get featured on that. You guys can say, huh? Because they're not star players. That's how it works, right? That's why I have to be a star player to be the face of the league with the other star SHL players. Yeah, man. Yeah. Ivan, how much do NHL arenas cost? $500 to even $1.5 billion. Well, I think on average it's about, for $500 million you can build an SHL arena. But if you want to build a practice facility and have amazing facilities, I'll put $1 billion towards it. That way the players have amazing facilities. A practice facility and the main facility where they practice. Obviously. Yeah. You could have the players stay at suites if you want for the away games. With a $500 million operating budget, you can actually have the players stay at suites. But it's going to drain them. You're going to drain the budget. You're going to drain the no, don't do that. You're going to drain the money. Have them stay at nice fucking hotels, but they're standard hotels. Like in pro sports, the players don't stay at suites. They stay in nice hotels, but not like suites, right? But they're nice, like good quality hotels. You know, give the players a $1-3 per dime for their away games, for their dinner, to buy their food, right? Obviously, then when they play at home, they get spoiled with a buffet. The catering services, as all pro sport leagues do that, they spoil the players with buffets. All that stuff for training camp, during training camp, and everything. Yeah. Alright, this is a fucking dick, man. You saw that league, you're gonna crush us. Well, you guys here deserve, man. I saw that league, you're left behind, and you miss out the opportunity. There you go. Yeah. Would VJ support you? Yeah, she would. Yeah, Ivan, you can do your pro hockey. If you want to be a pro hockey player, Ivan, you can do your pro hockey thing. I'll just do my music, Ivan. Or Justice will be a world famous music star. And she'll go on a world tour for music, obviously, and she'll make $1 billion. VJ will make her tens of millions too. Or music, right? Making a lot of money, because now she has a control with me. Her keys are no longer useless, obviously, right? Yeah. That's why I'm only going to have a 25-team league. That way they don't. I don't drain more of my money. Yeah, 25 teams is enough. 13 teams in Canada, 12 teams in the States. That's enough, obviously. And I'll put $1 billion towards each SHL arena. That way I have amazing facilities for the players. Practice facilities, state-of-the-art gym, a luxury locker room, and the main facility where they play at the games, obviously. Nice seating for the fans, nice food concessions, nice merch stores, all that stuff. Do the players get a piece of the food concessions and the merch? No, they don't. Only the star players do. The star players get league revenue, so they get a piece of it, obviously. The star players get a piece of the merch revenue. All the revenue made from the league, they get a piece of it. They get their $5 to $20 million in league revenue. But I recommend, guys, don't peak any higher than maybe $13 million for a star non-generational talent. If they're generational talent, you can pay them $13+ million for $13 to $20 million of league revenue. So a player's making $35 million a year. If they make $20 million league revenue, they made $55 million that season. And they also made money for the magazines, a few million for that. And they made like maybe they're 15-20 grand for each commercial. It's a good deal for the players. That's what they're worth. I'm not going to overpay as I'm having to do here right now. Yeah. Even Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, even though they're rare talent, and they put on a show and all that stuff, and you know what I'm saying, even those guys are not worth like $60 million a season for their base alone. Now, I'm not talking about their combined earnings. I'm talking about their base alone. They're not worth that. Even those guys are not worth that. I'm not going to have guys $2 million. Don't pay a player, guys, any more than 50 million if it's generational talent. 50 million is the peak in the league, guys. Don't breach it. You have to tell the board of governors that to let the GMs know. Generational talents can get 35. You can pay them whenever you want, but you can pay them their 35 plus if you want. But some GMs might be cheap. They might only pay a generational talent player maybe 28 million, right? Because you have to create room for the cap rate. Yeah, pay them whenever you want, but you can pay them 35 to 50. Obviously, the generational talent like Carbonates and Degrassi, but that's their peak. They're not worth anymore now. I'm not having guys do me. So if they make 40 million a season and they get 18 million league revenue, they made 68 million for that one season. But you have to balance out their contract, guys. Balance it out. First two seasons they get 40 million, 18 million of league revenue for those two seasons, and after that you bring it down. They get maybe 32, they get maybe 14 million of league revenue. They still made like 46 million that season. That's more than what they make in the NHL. That's good enough, man. Like, I'm generous enough to make sure these players are getting paid. They deserve to get paid, but I'm not going to have these guys do me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to pay these guys have to do me. We want to raise Ivan. Yeah, I'll raise the cap to maybe like 12 million, make a bit more money, but I'm not going to raise. We want to raise for the league revenue. No, guys, I'm not going to go any higher than 20 million. You guys are not worth any more than this, man. I'm not going to have guys do me. Don't pay a player like $34 million league revenue. They're ripping you off, and you're overpaying them, and they're duping you, man. These hockey addicts are not worth that. You're like, oh, don't hate them. Yeah. So it's not just the players. Yeah, chances are there'll be a lockdown and a strike. All the people working in the league and also the players, they go on strike, and there's a lockdown in the league with Ivan and with the board of governors. And the board of governors won't even want to raise. So yeah, we want to raise Ivan. 15 million in a year is not enough. We want to raise. Yeah, guys, I can give you guys a $1 million raise. The board of governors for each season. That's a good deal for those guys. You start off at 15 million. The board of governors. You give them $1 million raises, and the commissioner, you can give him maybe a $400,000 raise for each season. That's a good deal for the commissioner. Start the commissioner off at 15 million too. That's more than what the NHL commissioner makes. The NHL commissioner makes about 10 million a year, I think. Start off at 50 million. You can give the commissioner perks, and the board of governors perks too, as part of the deal. It's a good deal for those guys. Yeah. Sarah. Yeah, but man, you can easily raise the $3 million. Yeah, I can, but these athletes are not worth that, man. I'm not having guys do me, man. If you have a $3 million salary cap, now star players can get star non-generational talent can make 50 million a season. They're not worth that. And generational talent players can make their $65 million a season, even 70 million a season. Pay a player that Ivan, they're draining the cap and they're ripping you off. They're not worth that. They're duping you, man. And with their league revenue, they're pulling in like 90 million, 80 million a season. That's too much. Players not worth that, Ivan. They're draining your cap and they're ripping you off. You go, don't hang up, yeah. Some Sarah. My food should be ready, guys. Get my hot dogs. I'm hungry. Get paid this Sunday. Just enough money until I get paid my welfare check, like next Friday, right, on the 27th. And that's Resident Week Room. Rabbi's walkthrough. That's gonna be Rabbi's playing that game. I can't wait for that game. I can't wait for that James Bond game in May, right? That's gonna be sick. Yeah. But even Loser was my first stream, guys. Pro Hockey is my second choice, obviously. Most likely going to be yeah! Yeah, okay. My food's ready, guys. Alright guys, sorry for the long wait. I'm upstairs to get my food. Yeah. What are you eating, Ivan? Chapati with hot dogs. It's actually really good. With onions, right? With ketchup. It's amazing. So Ivan, everyone in the league will want to raise. Oh yeah, they will. You're probably looking at a league lockdown, also a league strike. Strike is the players, and then lockdown is the league, like the coaches, the presidents. They might all want to raise. It's not fair, Ivan. You're making all that money. You want to raise? Yeah, I'll give you guys a raise, but I'm not gonna raise it substantially and have you guys do like that, right? Yeah. So players could be a bit jealous. Yeah, they could be jealous. Yeah, Ivan's the star of the league. He's making way more than everyone else. Like all the money that everyone's making is peanuts. Even the star players are making peanuts. A star player makes $30 million a season. That's a lot of money, but it's not like, I don't know, 80, 70 billion a season, right? That's peanuts, obviously. That's what they want. They want more of the pie. Remember how I talk about the Hollywood actors are greedy? The sport agents are greedy too. Some agents might ask for a ridiculous amount of money. I'm like, look, man, I'm not gonna have these guys do me, man. Yeah. All right. Will some sport agents demand like 50 million a season? Oh yeah, they will. For star non-generational talent. Look, man, the player's a star player, but they're not generational talent. They're not worth any more than $32 million. Don't pay a player anymore. That's enough. You're getting greedy. And I'm also giving you league revenue. Don't forget that, right? That's enough. You don't like what I'm paying. You play in the NHL and make your, I don't know, your 10, 12, 16 million as a star player. There you go. Yeah. All right, what's the NHL's peak? NHL's peak is about $16 million for star players. Obviously, it's a lot of money, but it's not the money I'm paying the players in my league. Right? I can pay the players double than what they peak at in the NHL, right? The star players, right? Why are you giving the players league revenue? Because they deserve it. Like they're part of the success of the league. They're star players. I'll make sure they get paid. Considering I'm making all that money, I'll gladly give them league revenue. But if they get greedy and they want more money, I'm not paying these guys more money. I'm not gonna have these guys do me, man. Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, because we live in a greedy world. Everyone in this world wants to make more money for themselves. Yeah, obviously, right? You're living a rich life without money, guys. Whereby once you play in the SHL for 15, 20 seasons, you can retire if you're smart with your money. And you should have tens of millions in your bank. 50 million, 30, 40, even the star players. The star players should at least have sort of 60 plus million, even 80 plus million in their bank after they retire because they made so much money, man. But it just depends how smart you are. If you're stupid with your money and you go bankrupt after 5 years, that's not my problem, right? You got to be smart with your money. Yeah, why? It's easy for you to say that, man. You're making your billions. Yes, I know, but you need to be smart with your money, obviously, right? Yeah. The agents are going to tell the players, I recommend you invest money in other businesses and you put away some money in your savings. Don't be stupid, right? And blow your money on like parties and all stuff and stupid stuff. As most pro athletes after 5 years go bankrupt, guys. It's a fact, right? Because they were stupid with their money. During their playing career, they just blew all their money on stupid shit. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with blowing some of your money, but don't be over stupid and like blow everything. Whereby like once you retire, after 5 years you have no money, man. Like I paid you guys enough money whereby you could retire, or you never have to work again after you retire from the SHL. Uh, yeah. Sorry, this food's really good. I recommend you guys try chapati with hot dogs. It's really good. Chapati's good with a lot of things. Chapati's good with beans, beef, hot dogs, cheese, fish. It goes with a lot of stuff on chapati, right? Yeah. But being a movie star is my ultimate dream, guys. It's not being a pro hockey athlete, but you never know. I might start that league, right? Yeah. If they delay it till I'm 50, I might say, you know what, fuck movies. I'll just be a pro. I'll just be a pro athlete. Yeah, but Ivan, you're 50. Yeah, I'm 50, but I feel like I look like I'm like 30 years old, guys. 33. And I'm healthy and I'm in shape and I can play for like 30 years, 25, 30 years in the league, probably 25 years in the league. And after that, I would want to transition into being a coach. Obviously, a legendary coach. Obviously, after I play, that'd be my dream is being a legendary player in my own league and be a legendary coach. Have like 2, 3, 4, 5 championships, right? Yeah. To be a legendary coach, you got to have a good maybe at least maybe 2 to 3 plus championships in your career, and you're a legendary coach. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm gonna take a nice hot shower after this. Georgia, you guys my beer, right? Yeah. Will the press want to raise? Yeah, they will. What I'll do is I'll start the press off at. You could start the press off at 200K, a bit more, considering you're making all that money. Ivan, you can pay the press a starting salary of $200,000 a season, and you can give them $3,000 raises a season. That's a good raise for the press. But they might even go on strike and we want a bigger raise. We want like a 10,000 raise. I'm like, no, guys, what I'm paying you is enough. You don't make this in the NHL. You make like you're one like 20,000 in the NHL. This is good enough as a press team for each team. Have a good 15 press team for each team that interviews all the players and they're responsible for all the news of that team. of all the players and everything. Free agent signings, all that stuff, right? Trades, all that stuff. That's why you have to build a press conference room too for each team, where the press interviews all the players, specifically the star players mainly, right? And the good players also get interviewed by the press too, but mainly the star players. So that works. It's all about the star players in pro sports. How it works, right? Yeah. Yeah. And the people working at the merch store and food concession stands, you can start them off at maybe 20, 21 an hour. That way they're making like their 50 plus hours a year. That's a good picture of those guys. They don't make that in pro leagues. Pro leagues, they get probably their 15, 16 an hour, 17 an hour. Start them off at 21, maybe 20, 22 an hour. The way they're making their 50 plus hours a year, they can feed their families. Like you guys said, yeah. But those guys might want to raise to maybe 30 an hour. I'm like, nah, they're not worth it. I'm not going to raise. I can raise it by maybe 24 an hour. Give them a little raise, but I'm not going to raise to 30 an hour. They're not worth that. I'm not going to have guys do me. Obviously. And the stat keepers, you can start them off at maybe $80K a season. Equipment managers, you can pay them $80,000 a season. Eventually, I will give them raise where they're making their $100,000 a year. That's a good picture of those guys. Living a great life with that money. Yeah, they're not worth it, not right. Yeah. And play-by-play guys, you can start them off at $300K and don't peak any higher than maybe $700, $750K for those guys. So if a guy has like 15 years experience, you can pay that guy $600,000, $70,000, $700,000 as a play-by-play guy, $500,000. That's a good paycheck of those guys who live in a rich life with that money. But if they want like their millions, they're not worth that. I'm not going to pay a play-by-play guy $1 million. They're not worth that. You get paid for what you're worth, right? Only the players the players deserve most of the dough because they're the product on the ice, and the coaches and the presidents and GMs. Those guys get paid their millions, but the play-by-play guys are not worth that. Stat keepers or court managers are not worth like $500K. No, pay them like $80K. You can give them a raise, and eventually they make their $100K. That's a good paycheck for those guys. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So people who manage the sticks, players' jerseys, all that stuff, washing the jerseys and everything. Yeah, those guys get like $80K. That's a good paycheck for those guys. Who sharpen the skates and everything. Yeah, they get paid like $80K. That's a good paycheck for those guys. Yeah. Right? Get paycheck, obviously. But they're all going to want to raise, obviously. It's not fair, Ivan. You're making all that money. You're making like your $80 billion a season. You want to raise, Ivan. Yeah, I'll give you guys a raise. I'm not going to give you a substantial raise and have you do me. Yeah, I guarantee you the players, the SHL PA, right? Obviously, the people who represent the SHL PA, obviously the players, they're going to push for like a ridiculous like $50 million, $100 million raise for the cap. And the people representing the players are going to pitch it to the board and me. Yeah, this league the SHL did like $80 billion last season revenue. And you guys only have a $200 million salary cap. That seems a bit too low. The players deserve more. You know what I'm saying? They might do that. And I'm like, guys, I get that. It did that money, but these players are not worth that, guys. I'm not going to have these guys do me. Yeah, but Ivan, it's not fair. Like, you're making all that money. We deserve a bit more of this, Ivan. Yeah, I'll give you like a $12 million raise for the cap. I'm not going to raise this to $50, $100. You're fucking crazy. You're duping me, man. Well, Ivan, if you raise the cap to $300 million, man, these athletes are not duping you. You're overpaying them, and you're paying them way too much money. They're duping you, man. Good players can now make $15, $16 million a season. They're not worth that, Ivan. Good players are not worth any more than maybe 12, man, for a team. 13 if they're lucky, obviously. And star players are not worth any more than like $32 million, Ivan. That's good enough, man. They don't like that. Play in the NHL and make their 16, 10, 8 million, 12 million as a star player. There you go. I'm giving you league revenue too. Don't forget that, right? Yeah, Mark, we deserve a bit more of that league revenue. I'm like, no, you don't, guys. I'm not going to go any higher than 20 million for league revenue. I'm not going to have guys do me, man. You're not worth that. There you go. Don't like him saying, Yeah, I'm paying you guys a lot of money, man. This is way more money than what the NHL athletes make. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think the NHL athletes deserve more money? Yeah, they do, but the problem with the NHL is the lowest grossing in terms of revenue of the big four leagues. It's a big league. It's one of the big four. It's a multi-billion-dollar league, but it's not making the kind of money like the NFL and the NBA are making. That's why the star players in the NHL don't make as much as the star players in the other pro leagues. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes peaked at $50 million a season. Tom Brady made $30 million a season. Star players in the NHL can't make that kind of money. They peak at $60 million, which is still good, a lot of money, but it's not the money the other players are making in the other leagues, right? NBA athletes peak at like $40 million a season. Some star players. LeBron James, I think, peaked at about $40 million a season for salary, excluding his endorsement deals and all that stuff, right? Yeah, because the NBA, the NFL, and the MLB, they make quite a bit more money than the NHL. The NHL makes quite a bit less than the other leagues. NHL peaks at about $7 billion a season in revenue. I checked. The NBA makes like $13 billion a season. The NBA is making what? Like $6 billion more than the NHL. That's why they have more room to pay the players more money. And don't forget, NBA teams, they only have like 12 players on a team. So the league has more cap space to pay the star players. Whereas NHL, they have about 18, 20 players on a team, so they have less cap space. And the league is not generating as much revenue. That's why the NHL salary cap is about 90, 100 million. Whereas NBA and like MLB, it's like $150 million cap, something crazy. Obviously, because the league it's a richer league than the NHL, and the NFL blows all the other leagues out of the water. NFL is doing like $22 billion a season in revenue. That's why each team has like a $270 million salary cap. But because the NFL, they have so many players on a team, that's why the NFL on average is, in terms of the average salary, is the lowest out of the pro sport leagues because you have more players to pay. But it's by far the richest league, obviously. But I heard Patrick Mahomes took a pay cut. He took a pay cut. He's not making his like. He had to take like a pay cut to create more cap space for the other players. Yeah. Why do you think Patrick Mahomes took a pay cut? Probably because he didn't do that good this season, right? Yeah, I think the team realized, yeah, we paid Patrick Mahomes. You know Patrick Mahomes is worth the money. We paid this guy way too much money. We have to bring it down, right? Obviously. Yeah, but he has 3 Super Bowls. But like this season, the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great season this year. That's probably why they have to restructure his contract. Because in the NFL, your money is not 100% guaranteed, right? Like the NHL. Obviously. Yeah. NHL, I don't think they have restructuring for contracts. I may be mistaken though, because NHL, all your 100% of your money is guaranteed. So there is no restructuring for contracts in the NHL. But the NFL, they have that because in the NFL, not all your money is guaranteed, so they can restructure your contract, obviously. Or there is restructuring in the NHL. I don't know. I may be mistaken. I don't know. Yeah. Last one. Almost done, guys. Take a nice hot shower and I'll enjoy the show with you guys, right? What about the photographers? Yeah, the photographers who take pictures for the games and the press conferences and all that stuff. Pay those guys like their 80. Pay those guys their 80, 100K starting salary. That's a good pay to those guys, right? Yeah. They all get paid, right? The only people who make way less are the people who work at the merch stores and who work at the food concession stands and everything and who sell beer and everything during the games. Those guys pay them like $22 an hour. That's good enough for those guys, right? They can feed their families that money. 100%, yeah. Yeah. And I will give the people working in the league a raise. But I'm not going to do but they're gonna expect something crazy like this. I'm saying, yeah, Ivan, because the league's pulling in like 100 billion, 80 billion in profit, we want a big raise, Ivan. Like, guys, I'm not gonna have you guys drain like $3.5 million of my money. You're fucking crazy, man. You're not worth any more than this. Like I'm saying, yeah. I know, guys, you smell on the water, you're getting greedy. I will give the players a raise. I can raise the cap by maybe 12 million. The players make a bit more. If you want me to raise it to like 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 million, you're crazy. Because the league's doing so much money, they might want like a 100 million raise, man, the players. Oh my guys, you're not worth this, man. I'm not gonna overpay you guys having to do me, man. Sarah, this is enough. You like what I'm paying. You play in the NHL, make less money. There you go. Guys, I know I may be a greedy pig, but I'm very generous. I'm making sure you guys are getting paid. I'm making sure the star players and even the good players in my league are getting paid good money. Good players make 7, 8, 9 million, 10 million, even 11, 12 million. That's a lot of money, guys. You're just greedy. You gotta want a bigger cut of that pie, Ivan. So greedy, yeah. That's why beware of some sport agents. The GMs have to beware of some sport agents. Some of the agents who represent the players might ask for a ridiculous amount of money. In the SHL, right? Yeah. Well, you have a sport agent, Ivan. No, I'm the owner of the league. I don't need a sport agent. I'm not going to have my agent take like 5% of my money. You fucking crazy? And have my agent do it. I don't need an agent. I own the league, right? I'm the only player in the league who doesn't have a sport agent, but all the other athletes have to be represented by sport agents, obviously. I believe in pro sports, agents take like 5% of the pie. The agents are taking 5% of the players' money, right? In pro sports. They're making a lot of money off of it. That's why they want more money too, because they want a bigger paycheck, the agents, right? Sport agents, right? Yeah. Take a nice little shout out to this. Enjoy showing you guys. Would you as a pro hockey athlete have crazy hype? Oh yeah, it'll have almost just as crazy hype as a movie, but the movie will have a bit more crazy hype. But me as a pro hockey athlete will have crazy hype too. But the question is, there's nothing worse than me starting that league. I put all that money into the league. The whole world's buzzing about Ivan as a pro hockey player. The press is interviewing everything, and I fucking flop as a player. He's Ivan, don't worry about it. You won't flop, man. You have the gifts, man. The gifts of God. Like these guys don't have the God in Ivan. You'll be fine, Ivan. You'll be a star player. Don't worry about it. And I end up being a star player. I train. I end up being a star player. You gotta train hard, Ivan. Every offseason, you gotta work out with the players in the gym, and you gotta do your a lot of on ice training. Work hard like Connor McDavid, Ovechkin, and Sidney Crosby. Work hard like those guys, and all the other athletes, right? You work hard, and you'll be an amazing player, Ivan. Or I could flop. It's risky, a little bit risky, right? Yeah. Because the board girls will tell me, yeah, even if you want to be featured on the magazines and the commercials with all these upcoming star players in your league, you have to be a star player, Ivan. For me to be featured on the magazines, the fitness magazines and all stuff, and the commercials with the players, the hot commercials with the players and everything, and have the sport anchors talk about me and everything, I have to be a star player. Well, I'll set a goal. My first season, I want to score maybe 80 points. 100's a bit too much. Okay, I'm a newbie. I have to get the feel with the players. My goal will be to hit maybe 80 points first season and score maybe 20, 18 goals. That's pretty good. The next season, I want to hit 100 points and score maybe 25 goals. In my third season, I want to hit 30 points, 35 goals, and score maybe 130 points. And my goal will be to hit maybe 150, 160, 170 points when I'm in my prime. But for me, I can be in my prime for my whole career because I'm young forever. I don't age, obviously. Was that I have the advantage I have over these players is I'm actually gonna stay young forever, healthy, young forever. So I can play for longer than these players. These players are, as they get older, their performance dips a little bit, obviously, when they're older. It's not worse in pro sports, right? As you get older, your performance dips a little bit. A little bit. But there's exceptions, obviously, like Tom Brady. Tom Brady in his 40s took his team to the Super Bowl, right? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady was still signing mega deals in the NFL in his 40s, man. Because Tom Brady is the rare talent in the NFL, obviously, right? Greatest NFL quarterback in history, right? I don't think anyone's ever going to beat Tom Brady, right? Guy has fucking 7 Super Bowl rings, man. That's fucking crazy. You think Patrick Mahomes will be Tom Brady? No, he won't. Patrick Mahomes will be lucky to get maybe 4 or 5 Super Bowls. I don't think he'll hit 7, though. Because his performance dipped this year, right? Yeah. So hopefully Patrick Mahomes next season can step it up. But if he performs bad for the next like 2-3 seasons, he'll be a legend, obviously, because he has to be Super Bowl rings, but he's not Tom Brady. Obviously. Don't hate Patrick, I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. Fuck you, Ivan. It's just a fucking dead. If you do that, you're gonna crush this Ivan. Well, you guys get what you deserve. Don't hate him, saying, yeah. Yeah. So Ivan, you're not gonna let a GM pay a player a ridiculous amount of money for like 10 years. No. The players are not worth that. But don't forget, I'm giving them league revenue. That's why you have to have room to pay other players, upcoming draft picks, other players who get traded. Good players have to get paid too. You have to be careful how much you pay the players. Yeah. The best thing to make it work, pay them a lot of money for maybe 2 seasons. At most, 2 seasons. And after that, you got to bring it down. That way you have more room to pay other good players. Pay a good player $8 million, right? Pay a star player $32 million. You bring it down to maybe 25, 24. Obviously, that's an $8 million. You just saved $8 million. That's enough money to pay a star player $6 million, $7 million, and another average player $1 million. You have to have room to pay other players. That's how it works. I don't hate them. Yeah. You have to balance it out, guys. Yeah. What's the longest contract you can sign in your league? Don't go any higher than maybe 10 years for a player. That's good enough for the player. Obviously. Yeah. Pay a star player $32 million for 2 seasons. You bring it down to maybe 27, 26 for like 3 seasons. And don't forget, they're getting league revenue every season with that. That's why they're signing like 300 million mega deals, man. Yeah. Yeah. Anything over like 350 million for a player for a deal is too much. Unless they're generational talent. Generational talents could make their about peak at maybe $400 million in my league for like a 10-year contract with their league revenue. Or maybe 380 million. But like anything over that, the players are ripping you off and they're duping you, man. Because NHL athletes don't make that. NHL athletes peak at like $160 million contracts for their 10-year term. Obviously. Because the NHL contracts are very deceptive. Yeah, it sounds big when a player signs like a mega like 100, like $40 million deal for like 10 seasons. But they're only making like 8, 9, 10 million a year, right? A lot of money, but like it's it's not like the money the players are making in minor league, right? Don't hit me, guys. One second, yeah. But it's still a lot of money, though. NHL players still make a shit ton of money. They're making their millions. But it's not the money that the players are making in minor league. Guys, Sarah? Yeah. Because don't forget, guys, even though some players might be, because some players might be pissed off when the GM they lower their salary. Some players might want, no, man, I want like my $32 million for 10 seasons, guys. You're crazy. I'm not gonna have you guys do that. You're not worth that. I'm giving you league revenue. Don't forget that, guys, with your salary. So even though they're lowering your salary after a couple seasons in your contract term, I'm still giving you league revenue. You're making your extra money for league revenue that season. So it still worked out for the good, right? Player makes $32 million. You bring it down to $26 million. Yeah, they took an $8 million pay cut, but that player is making his $7 million for that season, so it makes up for it. You're making a lot of money. $37 million, right? Yeah, you go. Only the star players though. Good players don't get league revenue. Some good players might demand league revenue. My guys, you're not worth league revenue, man. Only the star players are worth that. You're not worth it. I'm not gonna have guys do like that, man. If you give every player in each team league revenue, Ivan, they're gonna drain your money, Ivan. Drain a lot of your profit. I'll leave a lot of the league profits, man. Are you crazy? I'm not having to do like that, man. Good players are not worth that, man. Only the star players get league revenue. Good players don't get shit. They just get their base salary, and that's it. Why would then you pay the player bonuses? Yes, you can, but the bonuses is part of their deal. Don't have it because the bonuses is part of the cap, right? But in pro sport leagues, when they pay player bonuses, that's part of the cap. So you have to be careful. Have it be a part of their contract if you want to pay them a bonus. It's up to you. However the GM wants to structure the contract, if you want to pay a player a bonus, you can, but it's a part of the contract. So if you're paying a player $25 million, you can pay that player a $5 million signing bonus, and they get $20 million for that season, or maybe $17 million for that season. You have $3 million in performance bonuses when they hit milestones. You can do that. However, the GM wants to structure the contract. Got some Sarah? It's part of the deal. That way you don't drain the cap. You can't have you can't pay a player like a $10 million bonus and like $32 million salary. No, you're gonna drain the cap. The $32 million is a part of that deal. The bonus is a part of that deal. However, the GM wants to structure. Guys, I'm Sarah. That's why the SHL bowl the NHL water. Yeah, man. You want to build like SHL arenas in some of the cities where the NHL teams play. I'm like, yes, yeah, but if you do that, you're competing with the NHL. I'm like, guys, fuck the NHL. It's not my problem. Fuck the NHL. Not my problem, right? Yeah, you're competing with the NHL. Yes, I am. And it will blow the NHL water. Obviously. That's why the NHL will blow the NHL water, guys. Anyways, guys, this is very guys on the show. My SHL Pro Hockey League show. This is Iron Man. I'm saying peace. Peace out, guys. SHL better than the NHL, guys. Peace out, guys. You shoot, she scores. Ivan O'Mara.